Wow, that was really cheesy. Hi. So I don't normally record videos for this channel anymore. I did like 2 and I never posted again, but I wanted to make this video because I felt like it needed to be made. Because I really just, at this point, I just want to help people that have been in my situation. And, you know, I feel like it had to be made because I really didn't know any other way to help people in this situation at this moment. So, as you can probably tell by the title, this video is going to be about abuse. Abuse is a serious thing. That happens to, honestly, a lot of people. As sad as that is, it happens to a lot of people, no matter what type of abuse it is, and there's many types of abuse, and, you know, that is something that is sad, but it happens, and it's something that not a lot of people talk about, because of how touchy the subject is, I guess. I guess abuse in general. I haven't dealt with physical abuse really, but I can tell you that's just as bad. It's all just as bad, whether it's physical, mental, sexual, anything. Abuse is abuse, and that is definitely not a good thing. But I'll just come out and tell you guys I've dealt with mental abuse and sexual abuse in my life. I'm kind of to the point in my life where I don't care who knows. I don't care what happens. I'm my own person, and if you're gonna judge me for what I could not control, then, you know, that's on you. It's not on me. So 5 years of my life I spent getting sexually abused. That is something that is really hard for me to cope with. You know, one of the questions I always get asked when I get confronted about it is, how did you deal with it? You know, why? I mean, how did you go through all this time with such a big secret? And, you know, 5 years is a long time, and I think that's why a lot of people don't believe me when I come out and say it, because 5 years is a long time. But, you know, I guess I just really didn't know what to do. When it first started happening, I was so young that, you know, I thought it was my fault more so. Once I got older, I realized, you know, it wasn't. You know, this isn't right. This isn't how people are supposed to treat you. But, you know, at that point in time, I thought it was right. I thought it's what, you know, how love was shown. And, you know, that is something so sad to admit. I've never said that out loud, but at that age, that's what I thought love was something that was just expressed through such a manner, I guess. That's how I thought that was supposed to be perceived. Once I got older, I realized, you know, this isn't right. This isn't how family is supposed to treat you. Obviously, it wasn't biological family. It was, I guess, married in, but they never got married. So, yeah. I'm not going to use any names for the fact that there is no legal documentation, because it never went to court. So, my life sucks. That is one thing people always ask is, how did you cope? Well, at the beginning, I didn't even know it was wrong, really. Once I started realizing how wrong it was, I went to self-harm. Self-harm was definitely one of the things that I thought was right. You know, it was one of the things that helped me think I was doing okay. After I dealt with self-harm for about a year, so for the first like 2 years it was more kid stuff, then I went to, you know, self-harm. Self-harm for like a year and a half, and that was definitely not a good idea. I definitely don't believe people should turn to self-harm for such a situation. Obviously a lot of people do because they don't know what else to do, which was what happened to me, so I'm obviously not going to judge you if you self-harm, because, I mean, I did it because of this the situation, so I don't believe I should judge you for doing the same thing I did. So after I went through, you know, self-harm, I definitely did end up coping by eating, which is not a good thing either. You know, it's just as bad as not eating, is if you're overeating. That is definitely another thing I did to try to cope, and, you know, it really, I guess, like, it didn't really work either. All it did was, you know, make me gain weight, and that's not fun. It's not fun to gain a bunch of weight because of something you're coping with at home. Those are, like, ways I coped. I don't really have any other ways I cope. Like, when people always ask that, I don't know what to say because, you know, I didn't really cope a lot. I just kind of brushed it off, you know, just over the shoulder, gone for the day, brushed it off, and that's what people don't get either a lot of the times. They're like, how can you just brush something off like that? I don't know. I guess, you know, after I got through the beginning stages of, you know, thinking, oh, you know, this is, you know, weird, this and, you know, once I was like, oh, this isn't right, is when I kind of was so used to it, like, happening, that I didn't need coping. That's why I just, you know, just self-harm and really coping by eating was the only things I ever really did. There was a point in time where I did do sort of bad in school. I've never been like a F student, but definitely was getting close. So it didn't affect my school much, you know. I'm pretty much an A/B student. But it was definitely hard hiding something so big from my parents, or from my parents, my family, my friends. It's like teachers, everything, you know. It's like everyone knew you, but they didn't know the real you. They didn't know what you were going through. They didn't know who you were hiding every day. You walked out that door to school every day. You woke up and walked out to the kitchen. They didn't know what you were hiding. They don't know the true you and what you were going through and the pain you were feeling inside. And that's something that is really hard to cope with too, is trying to make, you know, relationships, have a boyfriend, have friends, have, you know, love in your family when you're hiding such a big secret from them. You know, you don't want to. Family, love, respect is all gained by trust. And when you don't have trust, what do you have? You know, I always get asked, you know, do you regret not telling sooner? Do you regret not telling sooner? Well, duh. I regret not telling sooner every fucking day of my life. This is a story I haven't told many people, but I am not shitting you. It happened. One day when I was, because my parents are divorced, one day I went over to my dad's house for the weekend, and we were coming back to my house, and we were at a stoplight, and my dad looked at me and he said, you know, is, you know, your mom's boyfriend, has he ever, you know, like, touched you inappropriately? And I looked at him, you know, and I was so scared because I was like, oh my god. Because this was at the beginning when I was still young. I was like, you know, is this right? Is this wrong? I don't know. I looked at my dad and all I could think was fear. Like, did I do something wrong? You know, do I tell him the truth? And all I said was no. That was seriously the most regretful conversation I've ever had in my whole entire life, because I knew right then I could have changed the next 4 years of my life, and I didn't. I let him think I was fine, when in reality I was fighting a bigger war than anyone ever imagined. And that's something that's really, really hard to, you know, talk about, because whenever I think about the situation, all I can think back is to when my dad asked me that, because right there, everything could have changed, and yet I was too scared to tell the truth. And that's something that haunts me to this day. And I know I shouldn't let it get to me. I shouldn't, you know, let the little things get to me, but in the reality of it all, I let it get to me. I let it control me, and I let it eat me away. And as much as I'd like to, tell you different, that I am the happiest person alive today, I'm not. It's still a question I get asked all the time is, how did you end up telling? Why did you end up telling? One night, everything was just going wrong. I was having one of my, depression nights, and my mom kind of pushed me over the edge, and I was going to run away. My mindset was, I'm getting out of this house, I'm leaving, I don't want anything to do with any of this shit anymore. So I put on a pair of shoes, and I ran out of the house, crying. I was halfway down the road when my friend that was living with us at the moment caught up to me, and we were kind of just talking, and she's like, what's going on, what's wrong? And I didn't straight up tell her, but I pretty much did. I was like, he needs to leave. I can't cope with life anymore. I can't live there if he's there. And she's like, why? And I'm like, why? And she's like, I do. She's like, you gotta tell your mom. And I'm like, I can't, that's just... I always, sat there and thought of conversations in my head with my mom of how I was going to do it, when I was going to do it, but I never got around to doing it. I never had enough guts or balls, so to say, to do it. She's like, I won't tell your mom, but you really need to. So I went back in the house, and I was trying to, clean up, and I couldn't stop crying. My mom was like, what's going on? And I looked at her and like, Mom, I need to talk to you. Can you come outside with me? So we went outside and we're sitting there, and finally I bit my lip probably the hardest I've ever bit it, and I was like, don't hate me, Mom. Don't get mad. Please listen to me. And she's like, yeah, what's going on? And I looked at the ground and I started crying more, and I thought, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I just, came out and said it, the last 5 years this has been happening, and that was when everything in my life changed. We got him out, and that was the start of my recovery from such an event. I went through a lot of cops and investigators, and as much as they wanted to help, they couldn't, because they didn't have any proof. They just didn't have anything that they needed to start an investigation. Really hard for me too is that, this is some real shit. 5 years of my life was ruined, and yet they can't do anything about it. That's something that hits hard. The situation is that no one's serving justice for what happened to me. The part of serving justice really doesn't hurt me. The part is that he could be out there hurting someone else, and it's like no one cares. It's like no one takes a second thought of, oh, this guy's out there and he's accused of 5 years of sexual abuse, and it's like no one cares how the next kid's going to feel. But that is, I didn't go to those investigators for myself. I didn't go to those policemen for myself. I went to those policemen investigators to help the next person, and yet they just shoot me down like that. At this point, I don't care what happens. It's been months since all the work and stuff has happened, the investigator work and whatnot. At this point in time, I don't care what happens. If he's gonna get justice, then cool. If he's not, then whatever. at this point, I can't keep blaming myself. As selfish as that is, I can't keep blaming myself. I tried. I tried to get a bad person put away for a bad crime. And if I'm not going to get any help for it, I can't help it. And I'm not trying to be rude about that. I'm not. I don't want anyone else hurt. But I tried my best, and if I don't get any help, you know, I put my 100% in. If I'm not going to get my 100% back that I deserve, then I can't do anything about it. I went through a little, like, a couple months of therapy. As much as I could sit there and talk and act like I was doing great, therapy never helped. Therapy kind of was just something to make sure I was talking about the situation. I got anyone to talk to. If you guys ever need anything, seriously, comment on this video, DM me on Instagram, message me on Facebook. I have Snapchat, Kik. You know, get a hold of me, because I really don't want anyone feeling like they can't come out and tell their parents about the abuse they're facing. They can't come out and tell someone at school, an adult, someone who can help them out of this situation, because it is not right and you should not have to go through it. So really, comment on this, message me, do something. My links will be in the description. Even if you just need to talk about anything, you know, I'm here to talk about literally anything. Even if it's not about abuse, if it's about, you know, depression, relationships, anything, just come out and tell me, because I'm here to listen, I'm here to help, and I love you all.